Screen Discord. What's up, AP?
Let's go.
So let me first start by saying thank you for coming on.
Am I your first guest, or how many guests have you had?
You were my first guest.
Let's go.
For sure. So let me read my little script I got. Wanted to start this podcast to showcase the amateur / semi-pro / pro dunkers primarily. Even if you're a little bit in the community now, like anyone who's watching, you know Isaiah Rivera's story now, you know Jordan Kilgannon's story, Jay Clark's story. But what about the amateurs, right, and the upcoming dunkers? So let's get right into it. I got about 14 questions for you. Who is Archie Padley, a.k.a. AP Bouncy?
Who is Archie Padley? That's a loaded question, first question.
Right?
He is a 19-year-old from Melbourne, Australia, who started dunking at only, got his first dunk, 17. That was probably one of the other questions, but, man, I don't even know what to say. I'm supposed to, give my whole life story, or,
let's see. Give me some hobbies.
Some hobbies, apart from dunking, obviously. I do like playing, DJing, mixing a little bit. Only recently, I like that kind of music, like electronic sort of thing. I like video editing, obviously why it kind of goes hand in hand with dunking these days. I've always been a big video gamer. Even though when I try to kind of stop doing it, but for sure, I enjoy coaching other people, and I got a few other hobbies, but they're all kind of minuscule. If you want me to name all of them, but like playing chess.
Ooh.
I like coffee. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this actually isn't one of my questions, but I see you guys in Australia have been going pretty crazy. You have a whole squad down there.
Absolutely. And I'll take credit for creating that. Obviously the boys already were there, but we just started a group. We knew there were a bunch of, might have been 5 dunkers who were kind of, serious in the community. And then there was, I want to say, maybe 20 people who not necessarily into dunking specifically, but good basketballers who can dunk. And yeah, we just created the chat and figured out a place to dunk every weekend. And it just went from just me and my best mate, Blake. We used to just go, he's the 6'6", 1 foot jumper. We used to just go, and one other guy would come, and now we got a solid 4 of us that go every week, so it's good.
Sheesh.
Occasionally we'll get 5 or 6.
So let me get this right. I think I know almost everybody from IG. There's a guy named Dan.
Yep.
Stevie,
yep.
You and Liam,
yeah.
That's basically the 4.
His research, yeah.
Yeah, because low key, I follow a ton of dunkers on Instagram. I think it's I can't tell them apart. Stevie or Dan, one of them's East Bay and got a 40 minimum.
What, the one who East Bayed over someone? They both got 40s, 100%.
Yeah. Then have they both East Bay?
So Steve he's right there, and he's East Bay rolled in, but he hasn't punched one yet. Which we're still waiting on, but he'll do that. He could easily do it tomorrow on 9-10, but all our rims are 9-11 to 10 feet or higher. In Australia, It's really weird. There's no small rims really. Yeah.
Sheesh, yeah, you guys are going crazy down there. All right, let's see the next question. It's okay. What got you into dunking?
I actually want to say it was the Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine contest. I always liked dunking, that part of basketball, and I always liked jumping. When I was younger, I was a long jumper. I look forward to the athletic carnivals, be long jump and triple jump. But that specific contest, when it just like kept going, dunk for dunk for dunk for dunk, I was like, nah, I need to be doing this stuff. Even if it was on like low rims at the time, I'd put the rim down, go outside with all my friends who watched it with me and just try to do all the dunks they did. Until eventually, I used to be a 1 foot jumper, and I could rattle in like rim grazes, and I just thought it was the best thing ever. And then eventually I switched to 2 foot. It took me like 6 months, and then I got my first dunk. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I think everyone pretty much starts out as a 1 footer, to be honest.
For sure.
I mean, especially basketball players. All right. So what is your ultimate goal with dunking?
My ultimate goal is to create as many dunkers as possible. That's my ultimate goal. Because I really think, like, after being able to dunk myself, like, I'm not super genetically gifted or anything. I reckon a lot of people can dunk. So, yeah, I want to try to create as many dunkers as possible. And my personal goal, like, my second goal for my achievement would be probably want to be the best in the world at some point. It's just hard to quantify and measure, but best in Australia and then best in the world. That's my, yeah.
Sheesh, that's a pretty cool goal. That's a pretty selfless goal. The main one you said at first, create a ton of dunkers.
Yeah. I don't know. I've already like helped probably like 5-10 people, and it's watching when you help someone else to get their first dunk, or give them like a little bit of help with their training, or even on the day you've never met the person, but then you give them some technique and they get their first dunk. Their excitement like just rubs off on you when they get their first dunk, because everyone remembers their first dunk, right? But I don't know. It's just that. And the one other thing is, tell people that just because you dunk one time does not mean stop there. You know what I mean? Everyone gets their first dunk and they're like, oh, I did it. That's my achievement. No, keep going. Do something else. Do a reverse. Do off the backboard. Do a bit self-lob. Do a, like, anyway. I feel like people just get their dunk and like, yeah, done for life, goal achieved. Yeah.
So do you like actively train people, like personal training?
So, funny that, in like 2 weeks, I'll be finished with my personal training course. Yeah, thank you. So by then I'll be able to like coach people in the gym. I already coached, like I was a basketball coach for about a year, but I was like 2 years. I was a trainer, but I was coaching like kids for just basketball and like older people for basketball. Not like one person or two people specifically for dunking. But yeah, I'll be able to train people in the gym, be able to train people outdoors on a hoop, and yeah, essentially try and give that THP in person. You know what I mean?
THP in Australia.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, John? Come on.
So how far is like the other like Australian dunkers, like Tom and the guy Austin Young?
So they're in Perth, which is, if you look at Australia, we're on the bottom right corner, and they're on the bottom left corner.
Sheesh.
So, yeah. So he's really far away. He almost came over for the King of the Court dunk contest. He almost came over for that, and he was going to stay with me, but they just couldn't work out the flights.
You got to fly? It's that far?
Yeah.
I mean, how much is it by drive?
No. No.
Gotcha.
No, you just can't. You can't drive. Well, you could, but you'd make it like a proper trip of like visiting everyone on the way. Worth again though is in Sydney. We got Kai, or Korean dunker. Have you seen him before?
Yep, Korean dunker.
Yep. And then in Townsville, we got, which is a little higher up, I think, is we got Brody. Have you seen Brody before?
Ooh, yeah. He's like, you know who Miller Dunks is?
Mm.
So he's like the Miller Dunks and the T Flying High of freaking Australia, man. Underrated as hell, to be honest. Like arguably, I think T Flying High was the best dunker in the world at a point just off IG. And Brody was very sneaky for a long time on IG. Like, he hit the whirlwind East Bay.
He still is. He still is. Like, and that's why I tell people followers does not correlate to, like, being a better dunker. Like, I would say if he's, like, performing well on a good day, everyone else is on a good day. Like, I need him to come back to dunk camp. He went a few years ago, but he needs to come back and just show out because, he'd go crazy.
You guys got a lot of talent down there.
Mm.
So let's see. So I know you recently hit a BTB. That's awesome. Name 3 of the highest level dunks you're consistent at. Like a dunk you can come into a session most days, 7 out of 10 tries.
I would say if it's a good session, not injured, not like pushing through knee pain or anything, definitely my 360 windmill. That's like my bread and butter now. And at one point, I was hitting it every session for like a few weeks. And then I had a big show. And anyway, that I would say I can easily hit the double up X. That's super consistent now. So I'd say for number 2, double up X, or the like 180 thing that Isaiah does. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They did dunk camp this year. That one where you kind of like spin in midair.
Yeah, the 180 Tetris or whatnot.
Yeah, but not Tetris.
But over one person for you right now.
Yeah,
for now.
I did over someone who's like 6'9", so that was like. It's honestly easier over someone taller if you're pushing off. So that, and then I would say my third like consistent dunk would definitely be like a windmill reverse or like a windmill pump. One of those two.
Okay, bet. Yeah, I've seen you. I've seen your YouTube video, and I saw. It was so funny in your video because you had the contest, and you caught the lady stealing.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. She is like going to jail because there's video evidence of her stealing the bag on the video and being caught with it later on the day.
Oh man! Because you said she didn't go back to the court, but she was still in the same town.
No, she was literally that night. She was outside the court, right? And then like our friends, like someone we know, saw her, and then we let the cops know that she was back there, and then she ended up at this train station nearby, and yeah.
So what is it like? What is it like messing with the Guy Dupuis?
Oh yeah, so Guy's crazy. Like literally, like I went to Sydney for like 4 or 5 days. We dunked on like 3 of those days, and he was there. Yeah, Guy, that man. If you want to interview someone, that man has some stories. Like he's done everything. He's been almost everywhere. He's met almost everyone. Yeah, no, Guy, it was cool.
That's awesome. So he lives near you guys?
Yeah, so he lives not too far from me, but he doesn't really like dunk with us because he's got his own like things that he has to do every week, and yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So, one thing I always tell people, no matter what problems they're going through, is that somebody always has it worse. Can you talk about the problem you had with potentially amputating your leg?
Damn. Yeah. So I stupidly was playing NFL at lunchtime.
NFL?
Just some regular NFL. So like American football.
Okay, gotcha.
We're just playing at lunchtime in Australia. And I wasn't wearing the proper shoes. It was a little wet. And I was sourcing up this lunchtime. Like I had probably already like 3 TDs, to be honest. But then I was getting a little too overconfident. I tried to make a little side skirt, and at this point I could only dunk like my best dunk was probably like off the lob 2 hands. And I just turned. I fell on the ground. I heard something snap, and I was like, "Oh shit! I broke something." But it didn't look like I broke my leg or anything. So I'd stand on the side of the court. And I'm like, "Shit! This really hurts." And I was
Yeah, you good. You good.
Yeah, okay. I was like, "Damn, this really hurts." Find out later, I broke my fibula down the bottom, and I ruptured 3 of my ligaments. So yeah, I had to have like 2 surgeries to make sure, like, to get this tight rope and this plate on the side. And then I went on something called schoolies. It's when you finish like school in year 12 in Australia. You go on like this, you kind of party for a week. Anyway, I went on schoolies and I went in a spa. So kind of my fault. I went in a spa and like over the days it just like got worse and worse. Like it healed by this point, but it still didn't really. So anyway, on the last day I was in so much pain. I was on like 8 out of 10 pain. I had to go to I went to the Royal Children's Hospital, I think, and it was not the Royal Children's Hospital, but I had actually gotten infected. So I was in hospital for 2 weeks after that, and it was close to the point where I had this something called golden staph, which has like, if all the people get it, they're probably going to die. Like it's got like a 35 to 40% like mortality rate. But for me, that was never going to happen because I'm younger. Anyway, took these antibiotics and luckily they worked. But if they didn't, yeah, I didn't really think about it at the time, but I would have had to get my leg, amputated. But yeah, luckily that didn't happen.
So yeah, you had all that happen, and you had one of the craziest, like, what is it called? Like, just you went crazy. You gained 10 inches of vert because you had all that happening, and you went from 36 to 46. Tell me about that.
So after that, I remember trying to jump, and I couldn't even touch the rim. Like once I would finish my rehab, I literally couldn't even touch the rim. And I was like, nah, I gotta have dunking back, and I gotta have more. So I was like, I gotta get back. I was like, I gotta take it serious from this point on. I'm gonna cough up the money, and I'm gonna get THB strength. So I bought THB strength, and I literally did not miss a workout for like, I want to say 6 months. I didn't miss a workout. I did everything, and on top of that, this is not what you're meant to do, and I do not do that. I cannot handle doing this now.
Jump every day.
Yeah, I was doing the program, and I was jumping like 5 to 6 days a week because we were in lockdown, and I didn't know what else to do. You know what I mean? Because I'm not sure if you know, but Melbourne had the most amount of days locked down in the world at one point. And yeah, so we literally couldn't do anything. So I just went in my backyard, dunked all day, tried new dunks, dunked on like 8 feet, dunked on 9 feet, dunked on like, eventually worked my way up, and I was able to dunk again. So not only, like, when I finished my injury, I reckon I didn't even have a 36 inch. I reckon I had a 30 inch vertical back then. Did my rehab, got back to maybe like a 35, just from being able to be back in my baseline. And from there, yeah, just went crazy.
Yeah, crazy indeed. Because I remember seeing you before camp. I was talking to a few dunkers, and we were like, is AP really like that, right? We're like, okay, he's coming up. When we really started questioning stuff was when you had touched like the top of the square. Like it was about a month before camp. You had touched the top of the square. We're like, yeah, that's crazy. And then you had went to with John Evans and Isaiah, right, in California, and you were back rimming 360 East Bays on 910. So tell me about your trip to California, right, with John?
Yeah. So I was talking to John. I got his number eventually. I think it was only like after a year of being on Teach Me Strength, but got his number and I called him. I was like, "Yeah, I'm coming to dunk camp, but I don't want to just come for like a week and like that kind of be it." I was like, "Where else should I go? Like, what should I do?" And he's like, "Come stay with me in San Francisco just before, and we can train for like 2 weeks. Make sure you're ready to go by dunk camp." So yeah, flew in. The day I flew in was the Golden State Parade as well. So that was kind of happening at the same time. And yeah, I learned so much from John as well. I'd realized I'd been doing these things wrong my whole time in training that you can't figure out if you're doing online. And yeah, sprinting. Had one dunk session with CJ, which was that one. And CJ, when he's like healthy and he can jump, CJ is crazy. In person as well, he might be one of the craziest dunkers I've ever seen. Like, just his style, his power, everything. It's crazy. But yeah, was there, filmed some videos, and yeah, that was a fun trip, for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy. CJ in person, he didn't dunk too much at the 2022 camp, but seeing him in 2021, I think he had the best performance out of everybody. And I'm saying that having recorded Isaiah's Tetris East Bay over, what was it, DJ Finley and Mick. I don't know how to say his whole name. He's Swedish or something. But having literally recorded that, yeah, I think CJ had the best performance in the 2021 dunk show. And you actually had an amazing performance, too, in the 2022 dunk camp show.
Yep.
Bro, do you jump higher coming from the right side?
Absolutely. Absolutely. For sure.
Oh, man.
I mean, I honestly reckon I jump high if I'm trying to spin.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, it's the kind of plant. And there's nothing like dunk camp. Like, I'd experienced adrenaline because I had a contest prior, but I never experienced, like, all these people I grew up watching being here, all these guys I talk to on the internet all the time about dunks being there as well. And just being completely rested, not having drunk caffeine in like a month, and then having a bang, which is like 300 milligrams. It was just like the perfect everything. And I usually dunk on 10-foot rims, and this rim was like 9-10, so it all just added up to be a crazy session.
Because I always make this joke now, because it's like, you'll come from the right side. This is really talking about your height check at the dunk show. You come from the right side, and you do the height check, and I'm like, yeah, like, he must know he gets up high, but he's not looking at the rim. So I'm like, you must just hear the oohs and the ahs, and that's how you're like, yeah, that was a good one.
What's crazy to me is I did that, and I was like, I don't even feel like I got that high, but like I didn't feel like I was having a good day at the show, like until I did that, and then someone's like, Billy's like, nah, you got to see this, and I was like, damn, okay.
Well, Sports Center thinks that, right? You got reposted? Sports Center?
Oh, so they posted the Vertec video, which, yeah, I gotta admit that angle made it look like like it was a crazy jump, but that angle made it look like I was jumping like 55 inches when I was jumping 46, but it's still.
Well, it looked like that. It looked like that in person because I was actually right there behind you.
Yeah.
I was looking at you, and it was like, the great thing about camp is, at least where I live, in a state called Delaware. Do you even know where that is?
Delaware.
Okay, it's basically near New York. Don't worry about it, right?
Okay.
So, basically, the thing about Delaware, like, most places, so I go into my gym, right? Not too many people can dunk, and it's pretty rare to see a dunk. Everybody's bouncy as hell, athletic as hell at camp. So to see you jump probably is you were probably one of the top 10 like freakish jumpers I've seen going to both camps. Like within the names of Dak, Isaiah, Chris Spell, like definitely top 10 for sure. Speaking from seeing your Vertec, the way you went from slow to fast, and I saw like the acceleration throughout, you just bounced off the ground.
Yep. So, yeah, and I was going over it with the Project Pure Athlete guys. Like, they brought up the video the next day, but it's kind of like my ability to plant, and it takes a lot out of my tibialis to do it. But when I like go slow into fast, you can look at like my ankles. It almost looks like my ankles being rolled. But being able to plant with a lot of speed and just take that straight up, I would say. And it's kind of a blessing and a curse, though, because it means I jump so high when I'm doing that, but I need a really good surface. You see what I mean? Like, otherwise, I'm just going to go kind of like drop down to a like 42, 43 range if I don't have like that crazy plant. But yeah.
So,
for sure.
For example, in your contest, you definitely noticed a difference jumping on that concrete?
Yes. I hated it, to be honest. Like, you could plant, but I just, it doesn't, you know when a court just feels bouncy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that court, that probably wasn't the best court I jumped off, like, but that was a good court at Duncan. But that, like, sometimes concrete, I can feel like it can explode off, but that was just, I don't know, it's just like weird synthetic concrete. It's just, it's not it.
Because I actually just had an outdoor session after like months of dunking indoors and at camp, and I tried to dunk 10 too, and I kind of got it over, but I just like felt no give from the concrete, and the neighborhood I was in is some developing neighborhood, so there's always like dust on the ground, so I can't go that fast, and it's concrete, so it was a terrible experience, honestly. So how do you think you could dunk?
Oh.
I mean, what's your max touch? 11.7, 11.8?
I think 11.7.5. So I would say, I reckon on a good day I could dunk 11 foot, maybe at dunk camp. Like, I'll try it next year. I didn't try last year, but I think I reckon I could dunk 11 or maybe like 10 for sure. Yeah.
Bet. So, name 3 pro dunkers you want to compete against, and then 3 amateur dunkers you want to compete against.
Pro dunkers, obviously, Jordan. Like, I know he's already talked to him because he's coming to Australia. I think start next year. So I might be competing against him then. Someone I don't want to compete against is Jordan Sutherland, but I think I'm also going to be competing against him pretty soon, because I think he's coming as well. I definitely want to verse Isaiah, because obviously I kind of forms a bit of my jump technique and just the way I jump off him. So obviously Isaiah, and that's hard, but I'll just go those 3.
Okay, bet. And name 3 amateur dunkers.
This is easy. Dom, Travis, and I want to say Cordell.
Ooh, that's nice. Nice. Okay. People usually sleep on Cordell too.
Nah, Cordell's nice.
You saw
him crazy as well.
He's got a double elbow off the lob recently too. He's different because he said he did it off the dribble back in 2019. So wild. All right, so what's the most memorable dunk you hit? You hit a 360 East Bay and BTB at camp. So was it one of those, or was it in a contest potentially?
My most memorable dunk was absolutely, like, for sure, my first dunk contest. I was so nervous. There was like people been playing all day, and it led up to the dunk contest. they went tallest to shortest, so I went last as well. And this rim was like, I was just feeling so good that day because I had like a little injury, and so I accidentally deloaded. And I didn't really know what deloading was at the time, but I was ready to go, and I hit my first 360 windmill in a contest first try. And I think I'm not sure if you've seen the video, but the crowd just went crazy. Yeah, that 100% my most memorable dunk, for sure.
That's awesome. Because I seen on TikTok or Instagram, you did a comparison video of the height from your first 360 windmill in a contest to your last one.
But no, that video was more about like, if the crowd gets around you, the dunk looks so much like, even if it's the same dunk, it looks so much better. And I would say crowd reaction is almost, it's hard because if everyone expects you to be able to do that, then you're not going to get a good reaction. You have to do something they're not expecting, or the people they have to not know who you are. Like,
gotcha.
Yeah. Like if Isaiah came in and did a 360 windmill, everyone might be like, oh wow, that was crazy. But they're never going to swarm him. You see what I mean?
For sure. Yeah, sheesh, Isaiah. All right, so give me some of your stats. Height, standing reach, weight, squat, deadlift, power clean.
Yep. So, barefoot, I'm actually not even 6 foot. I get asked this all the time. Barefoot, I'm like 182 and a little bit. I've never.
Oh, God.
So,
God.
But I'll always tell people I'm 6 foot if they ask. In terms of like shoes on. So, 6 foot. Standing reach, what was my standing reach? I think my standing reach is 7'9.5", with like my shoes I jump in. So with my basketball shoes, 7'9.5", which is the exact same as Jordan Kilgannon. He's 6'1". I don't know. Wingspan, I think, is like 6'2", maybe. And yeah, what else?
Give me like your weight room, squat. I really care about squat and power clean, honestly.
Is that what you care? Like, yeah, okay.
For the most part.
I haven't maxed out squats in the longest time, but I could probably do 150 on it, like 150 kilograms on any given day.
All right, hold up. Let me put that in my calculator for the Americans.
Yeah, that's your stupid imperial system.
Actually, so that's 330 pounds. So is that about parallel or a little deeper?
Parallel.
Gotcha.
I would say.
So you can dunk off vert, right?
On 10 foot, I struggle. But,
man, stop.
Yeah. Nah, I don't know. That's why I'm saying, like, the difference between me jumping standing versus running in is 10 inches.
Well, let me put it like this, right? You've seen the dunks I've done off vert, right?
Yeah, no, you're crazy off vert.
I touched max ever. Okay, I touched an inch lower than you because you touched 10 at camp. Now, honestly, I think I can touch 11 because okay, the first day I guess a lot of people don't know this. Maybe you do, but I dunked on Sunday before camp.
Yeah, I was filming it.
Oh, facts, you were really right there.
Yeah.
So okay, you know. Yeah, so I hit that windmill off vert. So the rim was about 9-10. So I think that's about an 11 touch, I think. Because now, off an approach, I can really only windmill on 9-10 if I'm touching 11. So I think off vert, I can touch 11 like ever. So, but I don't know. You can definitely dunk off vert better because 10-10s, you only need 7 inches over the rim to do a two-hander, honestly.
Yeah. No, so I can, like, I've done loads of times off the vert, but I'm like, it's never really something I work on, you see what I mean? But yeah, I've two-handed on a proper 10 foot off vert.
Yeah. You just don't practice that much.
Yeah. Definitely need to practice that more.
Yeah, you could do a back scratcher, honestly, off vert. Alright, so, top 3 dunkers of all time, in your opinion, and top 3 dunkers currently.
We're talking NBA?
Any way you want to do it. Anyway.
Alright, I'm gonna make this. It's too hard to be involved in the NBA. Well, it's not really. Best dunker of all time. Just because of his pure creativity and creating so many dunks, it's Kilgannon. Yeah, I reckon he's already at, I don't know how old he's, like 30 something. He's already the GOAT of dunking. Like, no one's really approached dunking the way he did. Like, people would just, they'd dunk at the end of their training session, but he was the first one to really, like, come at a different angle, go, alright, how many different dunks, how many different variations, measures every rim, yeah, so number one, John Kilgannon. Oh, number two's hard, because there's so many people that are going to get left out. I might do it in no specific order, but I reckon T-Dop's got to be in there. Like, in terms of GOATs.
Good pick.
Part of me, because I met Guy and I've seen everything he can do, I want to say Guy has to be like, he's definitely top 5, but I don't know.
Sheesh.
It's too hard. Too many people.
Sheesh. Top 5, but is he top 3? Kilgannon. Gotta put him in straight number 1 no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Clark for his versatility. And seeing him dunk off vert is crazy. Like, literally, okay. I remember the first camp, he did, like, he was trying to 360 East Bay off vert. I've never seen anybody put that much force into the ground and just explode off the ground like that straight off vert. That's crazy. And he East Bayed off all plants. Pretty nice. Okay, so Jay Clark.
100% most versatile.
100%. No question.
Hands down.
In the third, yeah, this does get tough. I'm gonna do an OG too. But I'm going to say Arab there.
Ooh, okay. I like that.
Mr. 720 himself.
Yeah. Damn. Apparently he never really trained either. Which is crazy.
Hey,
all he did was dunk. He never really hit weights. Apparently, which is wild.
Yeah.
And I would say Isaiah he's actually going to be there very soon, if he's not there already. In terms of, he's definitely top 10, no doubt. Maybe like top 5. But yeah, you think about Isaiah, he's done dunks. He's probably arguably done the best dunks of all time.
Felt. I mean, it's 360 Kamikaze now. The BTL 360, BTB, BTL. Now we just want some, both on 10, right?
Yep. He does that. Oh, yeah. Wins a few more contests. Yeah.
So, who's the top 3 dunkers currently?
Isaiah, number 1. I don't think anyone can really dispute that.
No question.
Number 2, Jordan Kilgannon or Jordan Sutherland. They're interchangeable. So those 3, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, that's about what I'd say too. I might take out Kilgannon.
Ooh, okay.
But God, I don't know who I put in his place. Because, okay, Jordan Sutherland was, in my opinion, the best dunker in the world in 2019, 2020? Even right now,
even
amazing.
Like 2018.
Ooh, I like that too. Kilgannon, right now? I'll add him in. I can't think of anybody else right now. I just feel like sometimes... I mean, I just think about contests, too, with Kilgannon a little bit. I mean, Isaiah's not... Let me put it this way. I think pretty much everyone can agree one of the best contest dunkers ever is obviously Chris Staples. Him and Lee
Chris
Peck...
Staples and Guy Dupuis.
For sure. And I heard Guy, heard he's been doing it since he was 14, pro dunker. That's what they were telling me, Jay Clark. There's some after dark hour stories you hear at dunk camp that are kind of crazy, but you got to come to camp to find out. Yo, the stories I heard about Geet, man. Okay, so what's the average day in a life for you? Do you work? Are you in college?
Right. So at the moment, I'm enrolled at university doing exercise sports science, sports management. But deferred that to get my PT qualification, so I can like start training people now. So my average day is either I'm going to my PT course, I'm working, I work like a regular kind of sales job. It's not cold calling, but yeah, sales job. I'll find a way to train, like whatever my training is that day. I'll find a time to do that, whether it's in the morning or after work. And yeah, and I'll dunk on the weekends. I'll mix at some point in the past week at least. And yeah, I occasionally go out, maybe like, I want to say like once every like 3 or 4 weeks. I like to go out. Yeah. But can't do too much of that or else it'll just, you won't have the energy to train. You know what I mean?
So, I think this is a big question. Like, how do you deal with like knee pain? Like, I know you obviously do ISOs and slow strength, but like, what have you done before that's kind of probably a little funny? Like, what have you pushed through and probably even hit good dunks? Like, how do your knees feel right now?
Right now?
Yeah.
I'm in 0 out of 10 pain right now, but I reckon after maybe, if I jump 20 times, my knee's going to be like, hey, just reminding you, I exist. You know what I mean? Like, I'm here in pain. Not much pain, but then, like, yeah.
Yeah,
I overdid it. Yeah, I overdid it, like, about 3 weeks ago. Like, 2.5 weeks ago. I dunked 4 days in a row for, like, 20, 30 minutes. It was for shows. And I was getting paid, so it was alright, but, yeah. I pushed through some pain, and I kind of had to, like, deal with the repercussions of that for the past, like, week or two. But, yeah. That's my kind of knee pain. In terms of my treatment, I do the basic things like ISOs. I do like a quarter squat ISO, kind of like go down like a one leg. You kind of pistol squat, hold at something, pistol squat down to a point where you can like start to feel the pain a little bit, and then hold it. And I do it on a balance board.
Oh,
so
like a Bosu ball almost?
Oh, not a balance board. I do it on this. I'm not sure if you've seen these things before.
Oh, okay.
They're kind of like thick. Yeah, and I stand on that on one leg, and that kind of like builds stability and strength of the tendon. Slow squats, obviously. John has had me doing this thing where I do slow squat, like 2-3 sets of slow squats, and then I go the same weight and I do it as fast as possible. I don't know what that's about, but I've been doing it, and my knee's been feeling better. Leg extension ISOs. I don't take collagen, but I used to take collagen, and I used to eat like a block of gelatin every day. Have you heard about that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are pretty cool. I mean, I think I used collagen a little bit, and I think I used, I mean, I'll have some gelatin a little bit, but overall, I just still try to manage the overall load of my tendons. I mean, definitely, I just know, you know, if I'm just straight up in the weight room, right, like 2-3 sessions a week, dunking once a week, I won't have any problems. But, you know, if I dunk 3 days a week, dunk 2 days in a row, add some plyo volume in, do a little more 1 foot, yeah, I might start to feel a little more or something.
Yep, for sure.
I just go down like the ultimatum is just like, manage the load for your tendon.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
So, let's see. I think this is my last question here.
Oof.
What would you tell someone just starting their dunking journey? Like, what tips would you have for them?
The number one thing I would tell them is you never know if it's going to work out better than you could have like ever thought it would. So some people, I wouldn't say start with obviously you want to get a goal, whatever that is, dunking, but focus less on what your end goal is and more on the process, because when you focus on the process and you just keep showing up every day, if something goes wrong, like you get injured or your knees start really hurting, you're not just going to think, oh, I can't get to that end goal anymore. Like, I can't see how I can get there. I don't see how I can do that windmill anymore. It's going to set me so far back from my hitting an East Bay. Whatever it is, if you focus on just like, all right, I'm gonna show up the next day and I'm gonna do what I need to do, and you just enjoy that process, because that's what it's actually about. If you do that, then your results will just follow. And I know it's like corny to say, but that is literally the number one thing if you're training. That and stay disciplined. Yep.
Yeah. So, where can people find you?
YouTube, number one. Go follow me on YouTube at ap.bouncy. I think it's just AP Bouncy on YouTube. I'm nearly at 1,000 subs, which you know what that means. Yeah. And Instagram, ap.bouncy. TikTok, ap.bouncy. And that's my only.
Okay, back. And anything you want to say before we leave?
Think of like some phrase. Trust the process. There you go.
Yes, there we go. So I want to say again, thank you, AP Bouncy, for being the first guy on this podcast. I decided to get you because, okay, there's Dom coming up. But honestly, more than anything, you definitely came out of nowhere, because Dom was on low rim. He got his first dunk, and we got to see the whole process. But I feel like you definitely jumped more out of nowhere. And then you jumped out of nowhere, and then you went to camp. And that's how we all learned that AP Bouncy is really that guy. So thank you so much for being on.
Appreciate it, Corey.